Welcome to a Starter and a Chaser podcast with your hosts, Joe Clarke and Jon Passow.
American circles are different than Canadian circles because of the metric system. And that's what, welcome to a Starter and a Chaser podcast, where every week we review one whiskey and one beer. I'm Professional Brewer, Jon Passow.
I'm Whiskey Connoisseur, Joe Clarke.
Now we got some cool products here.
Absolutely.
Today.
Another
just knocking it out.
Knocking it out of the park, guys.
What do we have for the starter, Joe?
So we have a Orphan barrel Entrapment 25-year whiskey, Canadian whiskey.
And for the chaser, for Masthead Brewing Company in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, we have their Tiramisu Hazelnut Underverse, which is their bourbon barrel-aged imperial milk stout.
Wow, that's a lot to say.
It is a
lot
mouthful.
of ingredients.
But tell us about Entrapment and who makes
Orphan barrel is actually owned by Diageo Spirits, and they started it in 2013 from the Stitzel Weller line of their Forgotten Barrels. So what they're doing, the idea behind that, guys, is like if there is a distillery with some whiskeys and they have a bunch of different barrels to fit these flavor profiles, and this section here doesn't fit that profile, it kind of gets put aside or forgotten in that rick house, and they just don't know what to do with it or whatever.
Hence Orphan
So
barrel.
with the Orphan barrel kind of comes in now, and they go around the world to these rick houses and they say, hey, what do you got? Do you have this laying around? You guys have old barrels? And they kind of release them with, they have Entrapment. This is a Canadian 25-year-old. Then you have things like Forged Oak and their other offerings. So they're kind of like a rescue facility for whiskey. So Seagram's originally started Crown Royal in 1939, and it was for the visitation of King George VI and also Queen Elizabeth. Not Queen Elizabeth now, but her mother. So, and the first time it was exported to the United States was in 1964. This next part I'm going to say is a really interesting fact. From 1865 to 2010, the best-selling whiskey in the United States. I didn't know that. You wouldn't know that being around the area I'm from, because Canadian whiskey is not very popular. What do you think that's from, Jon?
Well, it turns out that the reason why the most popular selling drink in America was Canadian whiskey was because of the Civil War. Back in 1865, America was at war. They couldn't be producing as much whiskey as they normally do. And Canadians, being the opportunistic, adventurous people as they are, saw an opportunity and started importing Canadian whiskey into America. And they dominated the market. Now, the reason we keep talking about Crown Royal here is because this is a 25-year-old barrel of Crown Royal.
Also donated by our friend Richard Douglas. Thank you for the donation. Yes. This is incredible.
And if you have any other donations from our viewers that you'd like to send us for possible inclusion in the show, shoot us an email at whiskeyandbeer@starterandchaser.com. Now, Richard is a huge Crown Royal fan, like huge. Yes. The bags that Crown Royal come in, he's actually collected enough and has created a smoking jacket for it, which is epic.
I need to see this, Richard. I'm holding you to that.
I'm also a big Crown Royal fan too, and it's a shame because in America, a lot of people don't realize Crown Royal is whiskey, and a lot of people just don't like it, unfortunately.
I've heard it being called a liqueur.
Yeah, I see, and so I love Crown. Richard loves Crown. Where I feel like they really shine is their specialty barrels, their single barrel selects, their picks. I mean, it's really fantastic stuff. So if you want to give Crown another shot,
guys.
Check it out. But
let's get
into this one. See how it goes.
Grab that glass. Let's look at it. Give you guys a nice little shot here.
So for 25-year-old whiskey, this is really light in color. I mean, I'm getting kind of some corn, some yellow corn notes to the edges of it.
Kind of a young whiskey look to it.
It almost has a young whiskey look. It's got some legs to it. So,
sure. Not very
thick.
heavy, not very thick or oily or anything like that. Kind of light and airy in the glass, really.
What do you get on the nose?
You get a lot of vanilla, and honey really punches through with that also. It's very sweet on the nose. You get a lot of tropical fruit.
Tropical? Huh. Was not expecting
I'm
tropical.
pulling like a mango out of this. Maybe a little peach background to it. But along with all that, you get barrel notes and barrel characteristics to it too. So let's tear into this, John, and see what we get on the
cheers.
palate.
What's Canadian for cheers?
I don't know.
Cheers, eh?
Maybe.
Cheers, eh?
Slanje. So this is John's first try of this. I actually drink this, not lately, obviously, but in the past at Lizardville in Bedford, where I go sometimes and sample whiskey. So I'm really interested to see what he thinks about this, John.
This is, for a 25-year-old whiskey, I was expecting something completely on the other end of the spectrum. I was expecting dark, condensed flavors and a decent amount of sweetness. This is light. It's tropical. It tastes like a younger whiskey. It does not taste 25 years old. It drinks
very Scotch-like, actually.
Yeah, it's got honey up front, but it's got like the Islay kind of fruity Scotch note to the background of
without the smoke.
Without the smoke. No smoke whatsoever.
No. Little barrel characteristics on it. The mango, the honey and vanilla really punch through on this hard.
Big mango. It's got some heat to it.
And this is 81 proof or 82 proof, 41% alcohol. For being such a low alcohol volume like that on a whiskey, it does it sits with you in your mouth and kind of mid-chest for me. It's got a little of that Kentucky hug, kind of light hug to it.
Toronto hug, I guess, at this point. So,
right.
It's a little out of balance with that, I feel. For as light as the flavors are, I feel like the heat just kind of cuts through all that and just lingers into the aftertaste. So much I'm getting it like center palate after a minute of after swallowing. So
I do this kind of, to me it feels like almost, I don't know how to say this, like a medium finish to it. It's not real long.
It's not super long.
But I do taste the flavors as the whiskey evaporates from my mouth and the heat kind of goes away. I'm still getting that heavy mango taste throughout my mouth, really. Really on the center of the tongue. The sides I get nothing, but really on the center of the tongue. The hug stays with you in your chest. I like it personally, so.
I've gotten, what I'm going to say here, I've gotten on a couple of our whiskeys before. Not a lot. It's rare when I get this. This has kind of a supple, savory, mouth-watering characteristic.
It is a mouth-watering whiskey.
And I don't know if that's because of the alcohol that's activating the mouth-watering notes, or if it's just the whiskey itself. So it's interesting. I want to really look into that. If you know the answer to that, if alcohol activates the saliva glands or not, post that in the comments below. And by the way, when you're there, hit subscribe.
Also, if you guys have had Entrapment, leave us some comments down below what you think of it. And also, if you are fans of Crown Royal or some bottlings of Crown Royal that you've had in the past or some of their specialty stuff, comment below too. We're really interested in what you guys think.
What you have to say, for sure.
For sure.
Man, interesting.
Yeah,
if you told me this was 25 and I tried it blind, I wouldn't believe you. I would have thought like 8 years or 10 years.
That's interesting to see. And I understand that. Mm-hmm. Even though I do like this product, I agree with that. I would not think it was 25 years old in a blind taste, period.
I wonder if they had the barrel somewhere in the rick house where it was really cold and you didn't get a lot of evaporation going, that's kind of like preserved it. I'd be curious. We're going to have to reach out to Crown Royal and find out.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break. And while we're taking our break, be sure to check out our Patreon account. We've got a lot of special offers and exclusive episodes for our subscribers. And we'll be back with Masthead Brewing Company.
The Chaser.
Back to a Starter and a Chaser podcast. We are now on to the Chaser, which is Masthead Brewing Company Hazelnut Tiramisu Underverse. Now, Masthead Brewing Company, we have reviewed on the show before. You could find that link in the descriptions below. Masthead Brewing Company is from downtown Cleveland. They started in 2017 in a historic Cleveland building. The building was built in 1921. It was an old automobile dealership. Now, this one in particular is their bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Milk Stout. It spent 7 months in Woodford bourbon barrels, and it was aged in the barrels with, get this, Madagascar vanilla beans, cocoa nibs, coffee beans from Six Shooter Coffee Company in Cleveland, Ohio, and then it was infused with hazelnuts. It is 12.5% ABV. Unfortunately, I don't have any IBU ratings on this one, but I'm
really excited for this.
I'm excited for you to try it.
I haven't had it. I actually had a chance for a can, and Steve, I know you're watching. I gave you the can.
So we are going to pour this out.
I was blown away by their single origin coffee stout, which I really liked, and I am really excited to try this. I hear a lot of very good things about this one.
Guest pour.
Guest pour.
All right, look at that.
Look at that. That's got the serps to it, dude.
Definite serp contender.
Yes.
All right, Joe. Let's take a look at that. Hold that
head
up.
on it. Look at that.
Man, that is a dark brown head to the dark beer. What are you picking up on there?
Wow. I mean, the nose is...
This is going to blow his socks off. I know it.
Like milk, chocolate, tiramisu, hazelnut.
Do you smell any Underverse?
Coffee. Wow, this is malty.
Malty?
Yeah. No hops or anything, no bitterness. Okay. No, this is like just so smooth and creamy on the nose, and I haven't even drank it yet, and this is amazing on the nose. Oh, I'm so ready to just plow through this one, guys.
Prost.
Cheers. Wow, this is dessert in a glass, dude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, this isn't a milkshake stout. This is an imperial milk stout, which is going to have that milk sweetness to it. I wouldn't call this a dessert stout either, or a sweet stout, but it is borderline.
You know, here's what it tastes like to me. I feel like I'm chewing on some really well-made, homemade chocolate brownies.
Ooh, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see a chocolate brownie.
Yeah.
Actually, I get the chocolate brownie on the aftertaste. That is a very good point. Oh, I picked it up right before I took a sip.
This is good.
Chocolate, milk chocolate, rich milk chocolate right up front and like into the aftertaste. Nice roast coffee balances that out so it doesn't get like over the top, cloyingly sweet.
No, it definitely has the coffee in there for sure.
It's thick mouthfeel, lower carbonation as the style should be. So good job, Mastheads.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of that bourbon that kind of like dances throughout the palate.
Yeah, you get a little of the barrel notes on it for me. Mm-hmm. Not like an actual bourbon whiskey flavor, but you kind of get that barrel side of it. I
get a little bit of the bourbon. I get the little bit of the bourbon for me.
Okay. I get more of the, so this is higher alcohol content. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting that in about mid-palate, kind of punching through.
I get a front palate. You do notice that it is high alcohol, but it's not hot. I wouldn't call it hot, but it is, when you take a sip of it, you're like, okay, yeah, this is a big beer.
Yeah.
This is a big beer.
This is a big boy beer right here.
For the barrels, you're talking about the barrels, it was really got me thinking here.
It's a slow sipper.
It is. I get a little bit of that bourbon note, especially more on the finish. It is subtle. I get more of the barrel note, that kind of that char, and I get some of that tannins, the tannins from the wood.
Really?
Yeah, and I get that kind of lingering front palate, back of the teeth, which is typically if you get dryness on the back of your teeth, that's a sign of tannins. So I'm getting that a little bit with this one. Do you get a little bit of dryness there?
Now that you mention it, yeah. It's not like really mouth-watering, this one. For a beer, it does kind of dry your mouth out a little bit. So
I would say that's the tannins.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. The flavors are very well balanced. It's crazy to me because when you say the hazelnut Tiramisu Underverse Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Milk Stout. That's a lot of ingredients to me. It's like, oh my gosh. But to marry all those together into a beer like this is incredible, and it is balanced very, very good.
I 100% agree with that. I mean, you taste every single one of those notes, and it is in balance. It's not like tons of bourbon or tons of coffee or tons of cocoa. By the way, you do get cocoa in this.
Yes, you do.
And so it doesn't overwhelm you with one flavor in particular. It is very well balanced.
Wow, the nose and the palate on this, when you're putting your face into it to take a drink, it just like blows through your nose, man, and you just start getting all the smells that come out of there, and then you taste it. It's a pretty incredible experience. It's like a whiskey experience with this and how you drink this. It's a slow sipper for a beer.
Cleveland represent, man. You guys are doing great stuff.
This is only around since 2017, and this kind of product.
Now this, for my experience with the company, their stouts, their imperial stouts, and their hazies are really where they shine. They do great stuff too, great pilsners. They've got great reds, great IPAs. I mean, they do a lot of really good stuff, but I feel their wheelhouse and where they shine is stuff like this.
Yeah, I'm really digging the coffee stouts, and their single origin coffee stout is really good. It's one of my go-tos right now. I'm not a big beer guy, and I'm starting to get into this stuff.
He's getting there, though.
I'm starting to get into this, but their products they're one of my shelfers for me, so
nice.
It says a lot.
Well, enough gushing about Masthead's Brewing Company, which we can go on about.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are good. Let's give our final thoughts here.
Okay.
Entrapment. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What did you think, Joe?
Overall, I do like it as a whiskey in general. I don't know if I would buy that for retail around $150, $200, whatever it is. It's a lot. It doesn't drink like a 25-year-old whiskey should drink. It's a little underwhelming in that department, but if you take all that away and you're just getting a pour at a bar for as cheap as you can get it at Lizardville, yes. Here's my final verdict. I know this is long-winded.
Come on, Joe.
One thumb up, one thumb down.
Joe really summarized that well. I love Crown Royal. I was super excited when I heard I was going to be sampling a 25-year-old product. I mean, you don't get that chance very often. I mean, that's really cool. I was really underwhelmed by it. I mean, take everything away, take the Orphan barrel, the rareness of it, the price point, the age. It is a solid whiskey. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's subtle, it's got some complexities, it's got a pretty good finish to it, but it's got the heat, and I don't feel like it's got the flavor profile that would warrant the price that I would want to pay for it.
Sure.
Or the flavor profile that I would expect from it.
Sure.
And when you did thumbs up and thumbs down, I was like, damn it, that's what I was going to do.
Right?
Sorry, Crown Royal, I love you, but one thumbs up, one thumbs down.
All right.
Now, Mastheads. I think we know what Joe's going to say on this one.
2 thumbs up, guys. I can't believe you married that many different flavors into a drink like this. Bourbon barrel aged. I don't have any more words for it. It's pretty incredible. I didn't think I would actually like something like this, to be honest with you. Hazelnut and tiramisu and all this other stuff and milk chocolate. 2 thumbs up, guys.
Yeah, I mean, so well balanced. I give it 2 thumbs up as well, or even the Fonzie, hey, 2 thumbs up, right? Because it is that good that you just want to go, hey.
Yeah.
Well balanced, just home run. I mean, this is probably my favorite beer that they produce. Yeah, and by the way, if you thought this was their favorite episode we produced, be sure to give us a thumbs up, give us a comment. You can also hear us on all of the podcast channels.
Yeah, right down below, you see all the links.
All the links. And
tell us what you think about these 2 products. If you've had the Hazelnut Tiramisu Underverse Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Milk Stout from Masthead's Brewing Company, or the Entrapment 25-year-old Crown Royal Whiskey, please let us know. Comment down below. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. Ring the bell so you can get updates for us. That is our episode. Another one knocked out of the park. John?
Tune in next Wednesday.
Cheers, man.
And we're going to keep drinking this, and then I want to talk to you about the metric system.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
so circles.
Our circles like this.
Yeah, their circles are like
little
this because of the metric. So it's the circle.